Jarvisbiker. Saturday, I think it's 25th. 247. 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It's another 05 Goldwing here, the dealer. So, on the trip, first day, July 10th, we left Jarvis at about, I think about 8:30 a.m. We drove from home to Caledonia, picked up another rider. It was 3 of us left Jarvis. There was 4 of us by the time we got to Caledonia. And then we picked up the other 3 up Clapison Corners near Waterdown, Ontario. So that trip ended in a hotel in Owen Sound for the night. So it was get some dinner, have a couple of drinks, and then it was off to bed because we had to get up at like 5:30 a.m., get something to eat, and be on our way to catch the Chichimon ferry to take us to Manitoulin Island. So, cost for my bike and myself on the ferry for the trip was $41. Keep in mind, anybody that's pulling a trailer, it will be more. They charge you for the trailer axle as well. So we got there just in time. Now, we didn't take a direct line. We meandered our way through quite a ways. Got there just in time to get everything signed up and get down to the pier, and we really didn't even get the bikes on the kickstand, and they were telling us to board the ship, so we rolled right on. I didn't get the camera turned back on until I was over the drawbridge and actually in the ship itself. So so that trip was about a 2-hour trip across the water. And once we landed on the island, then it was a ride up through right across Manitoulin Island, Gore Bay, and then over to Little Current, still on the island for the night. So another went out and got food, got back, got drinks, off to bed again, and up the next day. Day 3 was the shortest ride. It was from Little Current to Thessalon, Ontario. Basically, you get off the island on the mainland, you take a left turn, and you go farther north. So we went to Thessalon. We stayed over at a private little motel. Very big, long buildings. I got some video. I got some drone footage. I'd attempted the day before to use the drone, and the chip was malfunctioning, so I got that chip out, and I had a brand new one in the kit, so I put that in. And then I checked it in the hotel room that night, and everything was fine. I put everything I thought back into the box, but apparently the cable didn't make it back into the case. So I pulled it out in Thessalon, thinking I'm ready to go, and I had nothing to hook my phone to the remote. So after a little investigation and reassuring myself that my drone wasn't going to take off on me, I used it without having visual help from the phone. So I flew it. It was, you know, the footage is okay, but it didn't really show me what I was looking at. I kind of moved the drone way too fast. I had no way to set it into cinematic mode. So I just, what it is what it is. But it lets you see what the buildings look like and the lake beside it, and, you know, some of the bikes that were there. There was some other bikers there. And so it was a good night. No AC in our room, but it was a cool night with a breeze. The window was open. It was very comfortable. So down to the grocery store from there to get food for the night. There was no restaurant. The motel that we were at did have a restaurant, but it's been closed for the whole shutdown. And the lady said that her dad had just had some surgery and he wasn't strong enough that if he caught COVID, so that she kept it shut down. She wasn't opening it up for anything. So after the grocery store down the road, we went about 25 miles, and we got some milk and cereal and bowls and spoons and stuff for breakfast, and then we some of the guys got fixings to make subs, and so they were doing that back at the room. But on the way back, we found a really good photo op spot, and there was a lady across the street. She come running over, grabbed the phone, and took our photo for us. So we got everybody with their bikes. It turned out to be a really good picture, so it was a good memento of the trip. So Thessalon. Then the next day from Thessalon, we went to Timmins, Ontario. That was quite a long ride. Had to make sure we had lots of gas, because it was about halfway before there was any gas station available to fill up again. So we were careful to make sure we topped right off before we left. After Timmins, the next day, which would have been day 5, we traveled from Timmins to Sudbury, and that evening we met up with one of the rider's cousins. He came over on his Harley, and custom Harley, and took us for a tour and got us to the sightseeing places, where the big nickel monument is, signifying for the nickel mines and smelting and all that goes on around the Sudbury area. Now, we did that little tour and got the photo op and the selfies and everything, and another person did another photo for us, so that was nice. Even in the COVID, people are still helpful. Back to the room and back to sleep. Up the next day, day 6, was Sudbury to Parry Sound. And nice little visit in that town. We went to Boston Pizza down by the pier. We called ahead. They reserved a table for us. We had a great time. Management and the service staff were excellent. Our waitress was phenomenal, and I think we tipped her well. I think we tipped her very well, so hope she realizes what a great job she was doing. But so after that, we went down to the pier. There's an ice cream place there and a little store, and I bought a hat, I bought a ice cream, and then walked down the pier, looked at the ships and the boats, and they have a tour, island tour, the 30,000 island tour boat there. And so we took some photos of the bikes in front of that and rode our way back through town, back to our hotel. And everybody was pretty tuckered. It was a pretty good ride, so hit the sheets again. The next day was Parry Sound to Collingwood. So Collingwood's not that far from home. I mean, you can do it in a couple of hours if you really had to on a bike. But we meandered our way from Sudbury, or from Parry Sound. We did down through like Bala and Gravenhurst and around Lake Rousseau area, and then over to Collingwood, and stayed the night. Up the next day, everybody fresh, ready to go home. And so the route took us down through Guelph, where we stopped at the Harley dealer, and right next door there's an Indian dealer as well. So we went to both. One of the guys is seriously looking at buying the Indian chieftain, so he was looking that over pretty good, and seeing what the deal really was. So we got some poker chips. I'll be sending them out. I think Fletch Dinah, I think I promised him one the other night online, so maybe I'll give him 2. And I'll have a few more. If any of the Harley guys are looking and they're watching, you might want to drop me a line. I got some poker chips. So yeah, so then once we Guelph, we went over, we stopped to eat at A&W. We went in. It was the first day of the opening, like phase 3 restriction lifting in Ontario, and we were actually allowed to eat inside the restaurant, but they said, oh, we're not set up. And then the lady come from the back and she goes, oh, are you guys on bikes? And we said, yeah, we've been all the way around. And then she looked out and saw a few Harleys sitting out there, and she said, oh, my husband and I, we own a Harley dealership in Mississauga as well as this restaurant. She said, you gentlemen there, you can take that table right there. So we were the first ones since the shutdown to eat inside that restaurant. Legally, mind you. They just hadn't got set up to do it yet, but we were the only ones in there that were allowed to eat, so they hooked us up. So once we got out of there, 2 of us, we split up, headed our own ways. We had to get back. The other guys were headed for the Niagara area, and one was headed our way, but he decided to stay with the rest of the group for a while and ride some more. So, but we had things we had to get back to, so we rolled on ahead. So that was the end of the 8 days. We had a great time, rode with some great people, and so it was a great trip. So the things to do if, or to expect if you go on one of these Northern Ontario trips, is the roads are crap. Wildlife, and some long distance between gas stops. So if you got a peanut tank, you're probably not going to want to go there, because you're either going to have to carry extra fuel or you're going to be pushing it. So yeah, so I videotaped everything. I had mostly the 3 cameras going, but I didn't have this rig. I had this helmet on the bike. I'd made a helmet holder using 2 bungee straps and some material that I sewed and fitted it together, and made basically a stretchy cover that bungees to your cargo rack on the back, and that helmet never moved. It was on there. I just put the cover over the bike and at night and just left it right on there most of the nights. I wasn't too worried about anybody getting near it. So it's a beautiful day. I'll get this video out as soon as I can on the northern trip. I've already started on it. I got some footage there all ready to go, so we'll see you then. Goodbye. Jarvisbiker out.